Welcome to Chapter 10 entitled Writing the Research Proposal. Value of Research Proposal. The development of the proposal can help to reduce wasted effort and provide a more efficient, problem-free study by encouraging the researcher to clarify the exact nature of the investigation, organization, and content of a typical proposal. Major components are presented below in the order in which they usually occur. 1. Title page. The title of the proposal should accurately reflect the contents and the scope of the suggested study. 2. Abstract. The possible exception of dissertation proposals should provide a short summary or abstract of about 200 words. The abstract should touch on every major component of the proposal except the budget. 3. Table of contents. It is not necessarily to put, especially for brief proposal, but it is useful to present the overview of the organization of the proposal. 4. Introduction and statement of the problem. Introduction is not always considered necessary, but an opening statement characterizing what is being proposed can help to introduce the subject to the reader. The first section of the typical proposal introduces the problem to be studied and provides a brief historical background for the problem where appropriate. To obtain the background provided the proposal, a variety of sources of information must be consulted. Examples of common sources of information in the field of library and information science are also included below. 1. Terminology. 2. Brief background. 3. Trends. 4. Statistics. 5. Biographical information. 6. Directory type information. 7. Bibliographical data. The review of related research or literature review is in effect an expansion of the historical background presented in the problem section, and it should be selective. The final report often contains additional works or information and should group the cited studies in some logical fashion. 6. Key research design refers to the overall strategy that you choose to integrate the different components of the study in a coherent and logical way, thereby ensuring you will effectively address the research problem. It constitutes the blueprint for the collection, measurement, and analysis of data. Research design elements includes the following: goals and objective, hypothesis, assumptions, definition, methodology, and treatment. 7. Institutional resources are available to support the proposed research project. Such a section is particularly advisable for grant proposals requesting external funding. Items in this section may include computer facilities, library resources, and survey research personnel and facilities. Personnel. A section describing personnel to be employed in the study or for projects involving a relatively large number of people. The budget has two main functions. First, it estimates, as realistically as possible, the costs of completing the objectives of the proposed research. Second, the budget provides a means to monitor the project's financial activities over the life of the project. A typical budget will usually contain at least the following items. 1. Salaries and wages. 2. Space. 3. Equipment. 4. Materials and supplies. 5. Travel expenses. 6. Support services. 7. Miscellaneous expenses. 8. Indirect costs. Penses. 9. Budget summaries. 8. Anticipated results. This information is important for grant proposals, as the potential funding agency must be convinced of the value of the research project. 9. Limitations of the study are those characteristics of design or methodology that impacted or influenced the interpretation of the findings from your research. 10. Back matter is the stuff at the end of your book, displayed after the main content of the book are finished. Common types of back matter in books include conclusions, appendices, bibliographies, glossaries, contributor lists, sources, suggested reading, epilogues, afterwards, and author's notes. Characteristics of a good proposal. It is important that a research proposal be a straightforward on document information. The language should be clear and precise. It should be clearly and logically organized. The general format should be attractive, conform to external mechanics of good form such as margins and pagination. It should be neat and free of typographical errors. Features that detract from a proposal. The most common reasons for rejection include A. Lack of new or original ideas. Diffuse, superficial, or unfocused research plank. Lack of knowledge of published relevant work. D. Lack of experience in the essential methodology. E. Uncertainty concerning the future directions of the research. Obtaining funding for LIS research. Another key to obtaining funding is identifying research areas that are considered timely. From time to time, inventories of needed research. Studies have been produced and assistance in the identification of topics likely to be seen as relatively high priorities by funding agencies.